It's Randy Nunez, your host at Between the Chalk Lines podcast. Just wanted to remind you that you can go to our Instagram and, yeah, look at this Aaron Judge photo, like it, tag someone, and follow the Between the Chalk Lines profile. Give yourself a chance to win that card of the 2024 American League MVP. Today's podcast is mainly going to be about arbitration. It's an ugly process, kind of like divorce, but you're not divorcing because in the end you're still together. um, just someone wants more money than the other wants to give. Usually, the players want more money than the teams are offering. There are a good number of players that have exchanged numbers, but we're going to start off with some big numbers that the 8-figure club, some players that have settled with their teams for $10 million or more. The biggest of that being Vlad Guerrero Jr. and the Blue Jays at $28.5 million for 2025 season. After that, he's a free agent. He's going to test the market, I'm pretty sure. First base market, depending on how the Mets and Alonso figure out. We'll talk about that as well. After him, it's Framber Valdez and Astros, $18 million. Luis Reyes and Padres at 14. Dylan Cease, $13.75 million. Zach Gallen and Diamondbacks at $13.5 million. Randy Rosarina and the Mariners at $11.3 million. Josh Naylor and the Diamondbacks at $10.9 million. And then Tariq Skubal, the 2024 AL Cy Young Award winner, and the Tigers agreed to a $10.15 million deal. So all those guys, I think, should make that money. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be crazy for Vlad next year because Alonso, the Mets, they're kind of at a standoff. They're putting on their best look and just seeing what the other person does, or the other group does. We're going to start off here with 17 players that exchanged figures with their clubs, breaking them down just one by one. This is in alphabetical order. So, starting off with the Angels, who are tied for 3 players who are not happy with their numbers. The Angels offered $5.8 million to Luis Rengifo. He wants $5.95. So just $150,000 more. That's all. Mickey Moniak, Angels offered $1.5 million. Mickey wants $2 million. Jose Cajada, pitcher, wants $1.14. The Angels offered $975,000. Moving on to the Brewers, who only had one player. Good for them. William Contreras wants $6.5 million. Brewers offered $5.6 million. So he wanted $900,000 more dollars. Cardinals, who are tied with the Angels with 3 players as well, who wanted more money. Started off with Brendan Donovan, wants $3.3 million. Cardinals offered $2.85. Lars Nootbaar is asking for $2.95 million. Cardinals offered $2.45. So he wants $500,000 more. or he and his agent, at least, I should say. Andre Plante, don't really know too much about him. What's 2.1 million? Cardinals offered 1.9. Kyle Tucker, he's been through this with the Astros before he got traded to the Cubs, but he's doing it again. He thinks he is worth more than what he's being offered, which was 15 million by the Cubs. He's asking for 17 and a half. Not a huge bump, but maybe partially troublesome to the Cubs. Who knows? Dodgers only have one. Alex Vesia from the bullpen, I believe, is asking for 2.3 million, and the Dodgers offered 2 million. So not a huge gap there, but just I believe $300,000. The way the Dodgers are spending, I think they can, give him 300,000. Nathaniel Lowe. I keep getting that name. The name is a tongue twister to me. Nathaniel Lowe. Yeah, Nathaniel Lowe. I have to say it a few times. $11.1 million is what he's asking. The Nationals offered 10.3. Orioles only had one player as well. They offered 3.1 to Jorge Mateo. He wants 4 million flat. Padres have one player, Michael King, pitcher, is asking 8.8 million. They offered 7.32 million. Pirates have 2 players who want to go to arbitration. One of them being Dennis Santana, asking 2.1 million. They offered 1.4. And then Johan Oviedo, I know he's a pitcher, asking 1.15 million. They offered 850,000, which is just a little bit over league minimum. And Rays only had one player. Offered 1.3 to Taylor Walls. He's asking 1.575. I don't know why that specific number, but that's what he's asking. Red Sox, and this is a name that's surprising to me. Maybe not someone that I know, but Jaron Duran is asking $4 million when the Red Sox offered 3.5. So they're only $500,000 away. Jaron Duran, I mean, he could get it maybe, but I'm leaning towards the Red Sox way. He's probably not going to. Then the Yankees only had one player, Mark Leiter Jr., a pitcher as well, asking $2.5 million when they offered 2.05. So it's 450,000 difference. And that's it really for the arbitration. Those who got it, those who didn't, what they're asking, what their teams offered. The Mets and Peter Alonso, that's our big story today. Why isn't Alonso signed to a deal yet with the New York Mets or anybody else for that matter? Well, if you're keeping track of this, Scott Boras said he should get a deal along the lines of Prince Fielder's 9 years, $214 million that was signed a long time ago. And just to let you know, I'm gonna look this up again and make sure when this Prince Fielder deal was done. That was signed 10 years ago in 2014. Sorry, 2000. Yes. Let me double check that. I want to make sure. Let me double check. And sorry if I sound sick. I've had a terrible just flu that's kicked my butt this past week. No, that was 2012. Sorry, he signed that with the Tigers, and that did not go over well with his injuries. He had a lot of neck problems. But he was supposed to get about 24 million a year for 9 years. That was his AAV. It was actually 23.777 if you want to be exact. But Scott Boras said, yeah, that's what Alonso deserves is 9 years, 214. That's what we're going off of. I don't know exactly where the Mets and Pete Alonso stand right now. Like right now. The biggest thing that is being talked about is, like I said before, maybe Alonso and the Mets just figure out a short-term deal. He's definitely not going to get that 9 years. I can tell you that right now. But maybe, because they did offer him a 7-year deal, $158 million in 2023, an extension that he declined. But now he's finding himself nowhere. But something akin to, Cody Bellinger would make sense and would give, I think, just 1 year with a player option or a mutual option in this case, because they both want to be together. They want to be together. It's just not working out. The communication is not there. And it's kind of sad. I feel bad for the Mets fans because Mets fans, they want Alonso to stay in New York. He is the NL home run leader dating back to his big league debut. There is nobody else in the National League that has hit more home runs than Pete Alonso. They want that, and with Juan Soto in the lineup now, who has said his next step is to make, Hall of Fame, they have lofty goals in New York. Not the Yankees, but the Mets also. And that would just make for an awesome crosstown rivalry to have Soto, who was on the Yankees, won a ring with them, and to have him play against the Yankees just this upcoming season. It's crazy. I don't think they could do it without Alonso, and the Mets know it. I just think that Alonso and Boras are being a little bit too outlandish. Maybe even 2 years with an option for a third year, or a bunch of options. 5 years with an option. Corbin Burns signed a huge deal with the non-backs, but he could opt out after the second year. He doesn't have to be there for 6 years. The Mets don't have to necessarily opt in, or I should say, they don't have to necessarily, you know, um, put in all their money, all their chips on Alonso. It could be mutual options. They could say, okay, well, you want to be with us after 2027, but we don't want you here still. You're not healthy. You're not hitting like you used to hit. So, it's a really, really interesting situation. And the way I wrote about it, thinking that Alonso would get, 25 million a year, I think is just it's just crazy looking at it unfold before my eyes. Just his contract situation. You know, he's not even in the top five. Sorry, he's two going into the postseason. He was top two with Freddie Freeman games played. He was actually just one game behind Freddie Freeman games played in the last 6 seasons. So when Alonso debuted, batting average, no, he's not there. He's not a batting average guy. RBIs, number one in all of those 6 seasons that he's played. In American League and National League. So he was over Matt Olson, Freddie Freeman, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Paul Goldschmidt, and Jose Abreu were tied, but Jose Abreu is going to fall off soon. Home runs, again, number one with 225 home runs after his debut. And then Pete Alonso was in the top five in F4 if you put much stock in WAR. He was number 4 behind Freddie Freeman, Paul Goldschmidt, Matt Olson, just ahead of Vladdy by 1 WAR. WRC plus top 5. He was number 5, just 1 ahead of Paul Goldschmidt, and just behind Matt Olson again. I had him AV of 25 million. 5 years is what I had him at. The minimum, I had him 5 years of 125 million is the starting point. The ceiling of 8 years and 200. I never had him at more than 8 years, more than $200 million. And it's just crazy how it's all going down. Few days, few weeks, we have pitchers and catchers at Arizona and Florida complexes for the teams meeting up. So pitchers and catchers report soon in February. That's a few weeks away. Is he going to be a guy that's signing in March? Possibly. I know another guy that's of importance is Alex Bregman, also represented by Scott Boras, the super agent. I don't think that Alex Bregman is a huge problem. I don't think he's going to have that issue of finding a team that needs him or wants him or will sign him. I think it's just going to be the fans. Will they accept him for what he did with the Astros, or what's been said that he did with the Astros in a trash banging, bang, 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 bang. So we'll see what happens with the Alex Bregman deal and the Pete Alonso deal. Roki Sasaki is supposed to, pick a team in the next week or so. Week and a half at max. I did want to say one more thing. I did call this. I'll play the clip after I say it. Gavin Lux was traded to the Reds shortly after Hae-Sung Kim was signed, the super utility player who can play second, short, third in the outfield. Gavin Lux can play second and short. We'll see how he does with the Reds. I don't know what Hae-Sung Kim's feeling. I think he should be feeling good that he's on a winning team and that the Dodgers were nice enough to sign him to a deal. They can definitely win another World Series during that contract. And all I can say is that, I called it. I said Lux or Rojas. It was going to be either one of those two, but I knew that Dodgers fans have been kind of getting sick and tired of Gavin Lux and his mediocre play. So I kind of figured he was the first man to go, if he was going to go, or if anyone was going to go, and he was. And I'll play that clip now. So they have to move someone, trade someone, do something so that they can add Kim and have him on their bench. They have Lux, they have Rojas, they have Outman. Those guys are expendable. And that right there is why I knew someone was going to be moved. And Gavin Lux has never had the love of Los Angeles. And that is the end of the podcast. One little thing is, maybe, just maybe, Vlad Jr. will be moved during spring training. Don't know if that's 100% true, but there's whispers, there's talk about it. It's a $28.5 million contract for one season. It's a lot of money. But if someone out there needs a first baseman, they'll do the trade and they'll pay the money. So that's it for today's Between the Chalk Lines. I'll catch you on Sunday, 60 Seconds. Have a great weekend.